So the Rajasthan politics is at a crossroad again, with the two most senior Congress leaders in the state not looking eye to eye anymore. It's no secret that relationship between Sachin Pilot and Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot was never very great, but it was not in the open. But those who studied the Rajasthan politics closely did know that things were not in the best of the state in Rajasthan. But yesterday we saw Chief Minister Ashok Gehlot come out openly and take potshot at Sachin Pilot. And at the same time, Pilot approached the Rajasthan High Court, challenging the decision that he got about suspension of his and 18 of his support MLAs. We've got our political editor Jayanta Ghoshal sir with us, and we're going to discuss the Rajasthan politics in detail today. And thank you so much for joining us, sir. So, this is not an isolated incident. In the recent past, we've seen several promising Congress leaders or either leave the party or have openly shown their discontent with what is going on. So how do you assess the situation, and why do you think that it has come to this point that two senior leaders like Ashok Gehlot and Sachin Pilot have to come out in the open and criticize one another?
See, I think it is not the issue of only Ashok Gehlot versus Sachin Pilot, because Congress is not a regional party like Samajwadi Party or Trinamool Congress, where the regional leadership is the top brush. Regional leadership is the main leadership. Congress is a national party. Only the state leadership quarreling is not the issue. Issue is the weakness of the central leadership, who cannot control the state issues, state leadership. Because you are actually the remote control. In Congress, it is called high command. Earlier, high command concept in Congress party, it was not there. Mrs. Indira Gandhi started it. Before that, there are several regional masihas, like Kamraj, like Biju Babu, like Bidhan Roy, like several regional leaders were there. In Maharashtra also, great Maratha leader, not only Y.V. Chavan, before that also Basant Dada Patil. So the regional masihas were there, but Indira Gandhi's time, we call it the end of innocence in the political history, and the regional leadership she defunct. And after that, the regional leadership was weak. And now who will be the chief minister? That is also determined by Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi. Whether Ashok Gehlot or Sachin Pilot, who will be the chief minister? That is also a decision took by Delhi. Now, just compare with BJP. In BJP also there is a very strong central leadership, and Mr. Modi and Mr. Shah. But they can control the state leadership. And here, the state leaders, they are actually orphaned, because Rahul Gandhi, he resigned after the election defeat. He resigned, but he did not make anybody president in place of him. Sonia Gandhi again took over, because Congress Working Committee, they have taken a decision that without Gandhi family, they cannot survive. They cannot, they cannot change any other leader. So it's a problem. Actually, it is in Congress party's internal problem. And when Ashok Gehlot became chief minister, from the very beginning, this rivalry was there. And that time it was a formula that 50-50 power sharing. That although Ashok Gehlot will be the chief minister, he's the old guard, but he will give the power to the new generation, and Sachin also will enjoy the 50% of the power, the organizational power, the ministries, different ministries, allocation also, they will take care, because Sachin also has a team. Sachin has developed his own followers. But Ashok Gehlot, that he didn't. So there was a problem, there is a mismatch. And now if you blame Sachin Pilot for the dissident politics, my question will be that how many times Rahul Gandhi, even Sonia Gandhi met Sachin Pilot, how many times they called Sachin Pilot to listen, to take care of the discontent. So there was don't care approach. And after Madhya Pradesh, Sonia Gandhi realized that if she should take the action immediately, otherwise Sachin also go like the Jyotiraditya model. So I think it's a major crisis. It's not the issue only Ashok Gehlot and Sachin Pilot. The inherent crisis of Congress and the Congress High Command's weakness is the sole responsible for this political scenario.
And also, sir, while the problem lies with the high command, as you said rightly, and a lot of Congress leaders have also, even though they do not openly state that the power lies with the Gandhi family, it is quite obvious that if anybody else apart from Gandhi family tries to rise in the Congress, the others, they pull him back, because so in a way, a Gandhi as a leader is more acceptable to the Congress party leaders than one of them who might be deserving and might be able to reach there.
Exactly. There is a sense of insecurity in the leadership also.
Right.
When Manmohan Singh was the prime minister, he invited Rahul Gandhi to be a minister to learn the governance. Rahul didn't, because the member of the Gandhi family, the born leader. So, and they want to start it from the presidentship or the vice presidentship of the party. But he could have joined the cabinet. He didn't. So the issue is, when Jyotiraditya Scindia is active, he cannot be active more than Rahul Gandhi. If RPN Singh is efficient and active, it is not, very complimentary for the leadership. So the youngsters, they are frustrated. And Sandeep Dixit, RPN Singh, Milind Deora, even Chidambaram San Karthi tweeted few days back, I saw that why Google succeed. The Google as a corporate organization, they actually are a success story because, as Karthi said, that the new generation leadership they create. So, they designate the new leaders, and who will be the second leader, who will be the third line, who will be the fourth line. So if leadership doesn't have any crisis, then they create the junior leaders. Yeah. I will share power to my juniors if I don't have any sense of insecurity. If I am insecure, then I will not give you the power. So this is the basic dynamics of the world. And Congress is the victim of this disease. If you cannot delegate, in BJP, you will find second rank, third rank, fourth rank. There are several leaders. I saw today's ministers. They were the acolytes of Vajpayee Advani. Now they have become what was Narendra Modi? Narendra Modi, he has not become Narendra Modi by a miracle or suddenly. So, there is a process of development of his leadership.
And so a very good example of this is also that Amit Shah had to vacate his post as the BJP president when he became the home minister, and he gave way for JP Nadda. So I think BJP has that kind of internal democratic selection of leaders more than the Congress party.
Exactly. And when Nadda became president, the usual media gossip was that Nadda will be controlled by Amit Shah. Now, everybody is saying that no, Nadda is doing Nadda's job. Narendra Modi ji is he is playing his role, and Nadda is playing Nadda's role. Amit Shah. So there are designated role in BJP. In Congress, as opposition, where is Congress? So this is a very sad case, because I feel sorry for Congress, because in the democracy, there should be a strong opposition. Then the ruling party's governance also, there is a check and balance, and that's why the democracy is. But you are blaming Modi, but you are not enough equipped to combat. That is your problem. Modi ji ka opposition ka strength बढ़ाना Modi ji ka काम नहीं है. Right. So Modi ji will be happy if there is a weakness of opposition. The same thing used to happen in the Nehru's time. Opposition used to blame Nehru that it's a one-party dominated multi-party system. Yes. One-party dominant multi-party system. The opposition blamed Nehru. Nehru said, "What can I do? If it's a multi-party system, And if the other parties, if they are not powerful, Nehru cannot be blamed for that. If people support me, people support my party. So the same repetition of history is taking place today. The BJP is a one-party dominant multi-party system, and the main opposition, Congress, it is in a lamentable situation.
Right.
It's a sorry state of affair for democracy.
It is. It is. Coming back to Rajasthan, sir, my take on this is that irrespective of the differences that Congress might have or Ashok Gehlot might have with Sachin Pilot, they would not want a promising young leader like Sachin Pilot to go away from the party, like many have in the past. So, the chief minister coming out in the open and using the words like he did yesterday for Sachin Pilot, do you think that it is actually blocking any possible way of Sachin Pilot coming back to the main fold in the Congress party anymore from now?
They tried. Congress High Command tried. Even Congress spokesman issued a statement that not outside. If Sachin wants to talk, we are ready. But he should talk inside the party forum. So there was a call. So there was a attempt. But Sachin made up his mind. And the issue is, whether they can topple the government or not. That is not the main issue. The main issue is Congress has become weak. Ashok Gehlot stopped the debacle of the government for the time being. So the patient, they are in ICU. The patient is in ICU. It's a morbid situation. But Ashok Gehlot gave the oxygen in the ICU to the patient for some time. So the MLAs, in Madhya Pradesh, the margin was less. It was a touch and go result, and the Madhya Pradesh government, it is in a weak majority. Here in Rajasthan, the number you need more, and for BJP, nothing to lose. Because who is, the beneficiary out of this, in this scenario? Because, the government is toppled or not. Congress is, now it's a two Congress. It has been split. Already it happened. So to miss Sachin Pilot, the brilliant Congress leader, he was a minister in the UPA, and all the time they used to praise Sachin Pilot. Today they are criticizing, but they used to say that it is our asset. Sachin is our asset. And that asset actually left the party. So the Congress is weak. So the whole scenario, and today they may not topple the government, but Sachin cannot go back to Congress. Sachin may join BJP, or Sachin can float a regional party, or Sachin can be an independent leader.
Forms a regional party, I think that will be even more harmful for Congress, because they will only be breaking the Congress vote bank. They will not be taking anything from the BJP itself.
Exactly. And
there is for Congress here.
And exactly. And there are several ideas. There is one idea that the regional leaders, the dissident youngsters, they can join hands. They can float a alternative national party of the youngsters. Is all these young leaders of Congress, and they can float a new party. I don't know whether they will do it or not. I don't know whether they will achieve it or not. It's a very difficult proposition. But before Lok Sabha election, as you were saying, that it cannot be good for Congress, because it's another party who will take your vote.
Yeah.
So I don't know, how Congress will get.
Right. So I've got the numbers here. Congress has 124 out of 200 seats at the moment, and 107 are Congress, and then the rest of them, 2 BTP, CPIM of 2 RLD2 and 12 independent for Congress. Whereas BJP has 72 of its own candidates, and then 3 RLP and 1 independent. If we take out Sachin Pilot's 18 MLAs from there, And in a hypothetical situation, let's put it in the BJP camp. So then they rise up to 94 and the Congress drops to 106. It's not as comfortable as it was once. So I think even though Sachin Pilot has not said that I will join the BJP, I think the bells would be ringing in the BJP camp also, that the political scenario in the state could lead up to a future toppling of the government, like in Karnataka and like in Madhya Pradesh.
True. What you are saying, that is true, because this is the number, and this is, I mean, mathematical proposition, which is concrete and physical. You can see the gap. But in politics, the timing is very important. When you will react, and one step forward, two steps backward, the guerrilla warfare strategy, it is very important. Now, Ashok Gehlot is also very vigilant. In fact, from the Rajya Sabha election time, there was a gossip that horse trading can take place. And before that, there is the experience of Madhya Pradesh. So Ashok Gehlot this time, he is very careful, and he is also in power. And he is a seasoned old guard. I must admit, the Ashok Gehlot's, strategic importance in this scenario, that he used his police force. He investigated, his intelligence used to tap Sachin Pilot's activities. So now the movement of MLAs and how they are behaving, these are, under scan. So I think strategically, they will also try to buy some time. And in the right time, again, they will start. Because, it is the issue of a major question of leadership. It is not the issue, when they will campaign to the MLAs to break the party, it is not to oust Ashok Gehlot. It is actually the major issue of the crisis of the Congress, and we want to build up a new politics. So we should leave this party, we should join this party. So these are more ideological positioning they will take, they will convince, there will be chit chat, a lot of meetings will take place. So this is the usual practice, it will take place. It will take time, but I think patience is the password of politics.
So there were also talks of some audio tapes being released of a certain union minister being indulged in horse trading and all that. How much truth do you think there is in all these talks?
It can be. I have not heard the audio clips. So it's a, subject of evidence. But Sachin is denying the fact.
Right.
But Ashok Gehlot is claiming that he has some audio clips on some records, which he has given it to Sonia Gandhi. And the conversation, usual conversation of Sachin Pilot with some BJP and Congress MLAs. And they sat in a hotel between Jaipur and Delhi. And there was a meeting and they actually followed him. These are the allegations and gossip. And it is viral. Everybody is talking about. But I cannot, authorize. I cannot say that this is correct because I have not heard it. I have not seen it. Ashok Gehlot camp is claiming it, but it has, create a problem for Sachin Pilot to bring the MLAs that time. So it can be a strategy also. So I don't know what it is, but it is an issue. We as a journalist, I cannot ignore this issue. So I have to say, and that's why I have said, although I don't have that evidential truth.
Right.
Whether it is evidential or truth or not, I don't know.
Right. So to sum it up, sir, like you said at the very beginning, that it is not about, it does not start with Rajasthan, and the problem will not certainly end with Rajasthan. The problem is much larger for the Congress party, and in a vibrant democracy, we need a strong opposition to check for the checks and balances between the government and the opposition in the country. So I think it would be right to say that for the Gandhis sitting in Delhi, it's time to self-introspect why their young stars are leaving the party, and maybe joining the other party or maybe forming their own party, that we don't know. But either ways, it's not looking good for Congress in the long run.
Exactly. With the hope that Congress will seriously look after these issues, because I love democracy. And in this democratic system, the executive, legislature, judiciary, media, and in this system, role of opposition is very important. Congress should settle own issues.
Right.
They are tweeting against Modi. They are busy with, to abuse the Modi and Amit Shah and BJP. But they should first, it's a opposition time is to improve their own position. Whether Priyanka will come or not, whether she will be the national character instead of Rahul or not, whether Priyanka will go to as a UP chief ministerial candidate or not, as BJP state leaders are demanding. You have to address those issues. And if you think that you don't want to bring Priyanka and Rahul will be your face, then Rahul should be in the president's chair. And if he thinks that he doesn't want to be in politics, then he can do something else on environment. He can study or wildlife conservation, or he can go to abroad to enjoy holidays. But whether he is tweeting every moment, he is blaming Modi, but he will not take the responsibility of the Congress presidency. So it's a very catch-22 situation. So I think Congress should address their own issues first. They should settle their issues, designate the people, bring back the dissidents, talk. Then you should get ready to fight Modi and Amit Shah.
Right. So thank you so much, sir. I'm hoping that more updates on this will come in the coming days, as the High Court has said that on the 24th they will be announcing the decision on Sachin Pilot's plea. So we will get back to you with more on that when that happens. And your knowledge is, sir, as always, priceless for us and our viewers. Thank you so much for that, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.